Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
Who among us doesn't like black music? But Kendrick is right. This moment is so much bigger than music. These are serious times. We've got serious problems, and we need serious people who understand that slogans are not solutions. When you want substantial and sober analysis about things that matter to you and the ones you love, this is where you turn. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Baby!
KBLA Talk 1580. We're celebrating Black Music Month. We're celebrating with the president of the Prince Fan Club, Dr. Melina Abdullah.
His birthday is Saturday.
I know it's Gemini season, yo.
I know.
Gotta love that.
Your birthday is tomorrow.
Yes.
Your
It's talking season.
tomorrow.
Talkity talk, Gemini communication. What is it about this man's music that you love so much?
Everything. I remember when we would get Prince albums, and I'd just sit on the couch for hours and just read all of the lyrics. The lyrics are phenomenal. But then it's not even a question. We playing it. Like, nobody can listen to this and not feel it, you know? and
I'll tell you why I'm laughing. I used to fight with my dad about Prince. The great
Really?
Amiri Baraka thought Prince was trash.
Oh, no. No, not really.
Well, yeah, he
no.
did. We used to fight about it.
Oh, my goodness. Did he read the lyrics? Your dad's a poet.
I don't know line of argument, but it was always like, you know, what are you talking about? Because Parliament Funkadelic, because...
Yeah, Parliament Funkadelic
'Cause-
opens for Prince.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
'cause
They love
Parliament-
each other.
I know. Well, you know, my dad didn't get the memo. Anyway, I just wonder. I mean, I think people would probably be more expecting you to be like, you know, Gil Scott-Heron or...
That's not music. I love Gil Scott-Heron, but that's not music. That's
Yeah,
not
it's poetry. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You know what they'll really be shocked by? You know I'm from Oakland.
Yeah.
You know the rule. If you're from Oakland, you gotta love Too Short.
Yeah.
So
You don't love Too
just,
Short?
No, I do.
Oh.
It's just a rule. Like, and they'll go, that's
What's
not
my
conscious.
favorite word?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Even my mom, I got this video of my mama who does not cuss at all. Man.
What's my favorite word? You can't ask
Blow
a
the
person.
whistle,
from
her and my
Oakland.
baba. Right.
Yeah. You can't- don't ask me that on the air because I'm going to get fined. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, look, if all of our music had to be 100% conscious,
Right.
yeah.
But Prince does have conscious music too.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what is
Baltimore.
pop life? What is Baltimore? Right? Even 1999, if you go into the lyrics.
Mom,
Yeah.
why does everybody have a bomb?
Right. That's right.
And the other thing is that for me, one of the reasons I love Prince so much is because he created space for people to be different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're still in this moment where this administration is demonizing trans and LGBTQ plus people and people who are different, who express their gender or their sexuality or their uniqueness differently. And way back then, I mean, in the 90s, he created space for people to be different. People were like, is Prince gay? Is he straight? Am I black or white? Am I straight or
Right,
gay? It's like
right.
that was a real conversation
Right.
and nobody cared because they loved the music.
Right. 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 I'm not a woman. I'm not a man. I am
I'm
something that you'll never understand. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love that. I mean, that is, I always believe that artists allow God to channel God's self through them. And that's really what I think we feel with Prince, right? So for me, Prince is everything. And I if I talk too long about how much he brings, like I'll get sad and miss him.
Oh, yeah. Gone too soon for sure. Well, it's Black Music Month, so we had to go there a little bit. But he's one of my favorites too. And if you think about that, in his time, there was no they, them pronouns.
Right.
There was no, you know what I mean, gender fluid, except for him.
But he opened the door for everybody else to also be fluid. If you remember, like, he wore makeup. Other people started wearing makeup. He had long hair. Other people started, you know, flipping their hair.
And wearing, all kinds of frilly whatever they were in the mood to do.
And he was also, I saw this meme about Prince is the only man that can wear high heels, lace shirt, and earrings and steal your woman.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that was back then. Now there's a bunch of them that can do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So pioneering in that sense. So my points of clarity were just to understand that, go watch the Jamal Bryant podcast. It's on YouTube. Watch it before they take it down. Maybe they never will. But tell a friend, make a comment, right? These are ways that we circulate this information. But to be clear, Black Lives Matter was one organization. The Global Network Foundation was put in place to handle the resources, the money for Black Lives Matter. And the grassroots was started to be just called grassroots to make the distinction. Grassroots being the ones that do the protests, do the court support, do all of that work.
Right.
And when Patrisse Cullors, one of the originators of Black Lives Matter, when it didn't have a formal structure, when she left, when she was overwhelmed by the negativity coming from the right-wing press and just the responsibility, the pressure, she stepped down. That's when these folks stepped in who were not part of BLM.
That's right.
At all. Either Global Network or grassroots. Stepped in outside consultants who were not members of the organization and took the money, took the platforms.
That's right. That's exactly what happened. So Patrisse was really building infrastructure. But if you remember 2020, right, those of us who were on front lines were hit really hard. And Patrisse did decide to step back. And these consultants had control over all of these mechanisms. And although Patrisse promised the resources and the platforms, I was actually running the platforms at the time, although she promised it to BLM grassroots. And there's an actual MOU saying that I got a call one day from Shalomia Bowers, who's one of the thieves, the lead thief, the thief in chief, right? And he said he intends to keep it indefinitely. And unfortunately, we weren't even able to get our case into court because we were blocked with a maneuver called an anti-SLAPP motion. So never allowed to even show, here's the MOU that Patrisse signed and sent to both of us. And he actually emailed back, this sounds good to me, right?
Yeah.
So
the bottom line is Black Lives Matter grassroots is Black Lives Matter. And if you want to support now, there's lots of ways to do it. But the main one is keep track of what's going on at blmgrassroots.org. And also you guys have a Substack now, too. So you can
apparently. I got to figure out what that is.
Well, you can support by subscribing to the Substack. Dr. Melina Abdullah, thank you so much for coming in. It's fun to talk with you in person.
Thank you so much. It is fun.
And don't forget, you can tune into her Saturday mornings at 8.
Yes, right here on KBLA.
Aloe Blacc is up next. We got a lot to talk about. It's a Tuesday that feels like a Monday and a Friday all at once. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-550-9651.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-550-9651. That's 800-550-9651.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates Pastor and Mrs. William Sachs Epps on their retirement from stewardship at the historic Second Baptist Church. Dr. Epps has faithfully served Second Baptist as its senior pastor for 37 years. What a legacy of love and leadership. Pastor and Mrs. Epps will be honored at a luncheon on Saturday, July 26, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Sheraton Universal Hotel in Universal City, and you're invited to attend. Noted scholar Dr. Michael Eric Dyson is the keynote speaker. For ticket information, please contact epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. That's epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. To Pastor Epps and First Lady Epps, congratulations from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions, this is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare, and I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare or you'll pay nothing. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-857-8866. 800-857-8866. 800-857-8866.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Not on my watch, oh, not on my watch. Not while I'm around with all the love that I've got. Not on my watch, oh, not on my watch. Not while I'm around, not on my watch. I met a man the other day. His head was bald, his hair was gray. He said, I've got something to say before I let you go your way. Said he was there in the struggle, had his share of getting in good trouble. He'd seen how hate can go from subtle into a deadly boiling bubble. Reach them young and teach them right. Speak your truth and seek the light. Change won't happen overnight, but you must wage a peaceful fight for all the power to the people. God made everybody equal. Stand up tall and yell to all from high up on the mountain top. Not on my watch.
KBLA Talk 1580. Aloe Blacc is here.
Hey, what's
Hey,
going on?
hey. Aloe Blacc, you know him. He's a songwriter, a singer. He's been putting out albums
Yeah.
for a minute now. over a decade, well over.
I mean, a
decade.
long time, a really long time.
A really long time. And that is from the new one. That's from the new one,
Yes,
right?
the new album. Stand Together is the new album, and this song is called Not On My Watch. That's a song I wrote inspired by a documentary called Following Harry, which is a chronicle of the last 10, 15 years of Harry Belafonte's life. And I was asked by the director, Susan Rostock, to write a song that could tell what the story was about, and even my relationship with Mr. Belafonte. It was really a story of him being a mentor and guiding artists and other activists on how to use their voice and continue this constant vigilance against darkness.
It's so interesting too, because they asked you to write about Mr. Belafonte, and what you came up with is kind of an anthem.
Oh wow! I mean, I would hope that it would become an anthem. I just feel like he was the kind of person, and his spirit, his legacy is such that we should be saying something like "Not on my watch." The things that we see other people do that don't agree with humanity, we shouldn't allow them to continue. So, we should be all holding hands and saying, "Not on my watch." We're going to make sure that we keep humanity and dignity and love at the center of everything.
You and Mr. Belafonte have a lot in common.
Maybe. I think so. Maybe.
I mean, you have sort of an international background,
okay.
Like he did, right?
That's right.
You're Panamanian, right?
Okay.
And Black American.
That's right. Yes.
You have the ability to move in a lot of different worlds.
Yes,
as
that's
an
true.
artist.
Mm-hmm. I see.
And you have this pop culture success, but you never have left your commitment to your community and activism.
That's right. Okay. We do have some things in common. Yes. I would say yes. He was certainly an important and huge figure, and was, I mean, I don't know if I hold a candle to the work that he did, but my goal is to strive to be as impactful.
It seems like your ability to be creative and be prolific in more than one world at a time is something that comes naturally to you, or it doesn't. I don't sense that you reach for that, or that you're trying to be a thing.
You know what? I don't know. I think maybe it's just a matter of wanting to do so much and always having the resources to do it. I was lucky enough that when my parents came to the United States, they found government jobs. My dad was in the military. My mom worked for the county. And that gave us stability. We went to really good public schools. And then I went to university at USC. I was lucky enough to get the trustee scholarship, which is the full tuition academic scholarship, and do really well.
Which means you were a brainiac as a student.
I mean, I had parents that made sure that I was getting the grades that I needed to get. And so I've always looked at, as long as I'm working hard, then things will be all right. And so, as you say, prolific in many different realms, but it's just me, trying to give 110% in anything that I think of or engage,
When I hear your music, it seems like, especially on the new album, I can hear, all these different influences, right?
Yeah.
I can hear your ancestors.
Lots of influences. And, in a song, let's say like Don't Go Alone, it's definitely, there's this vibe of Africa in there. And in other songs, a lot of what I do is I'm trying to serve the lyric the best that I can. And in this case, these songs are all, inspired by positive social missions, community heroes who've done amazing work. And the lyric is going to serve that, but the music, I want to be able to amplify the lyric. Because if the music is not working, nobody's going to listen. And some people are not lyric like listeners,
right?
And more music listeners,
right,
listeners,
right.
And somehow the lyric is going to soak in. So you've got to get both right. And I'm putting elements of hip hop, soul, jazz, some of the Latin elements that I grew up with, all buried into the music.
Yeah, I mean, all of it is there. So, does that mean that your music defies characterization, defies categories?
It's hard to really put a genre on the majority of my music. There's a time where what I'm doing is ostensibly soul, and it's a throwback kind of classic soul emulating style of music. But there's so much that I think defies genre. And when I think about one of my heroes, Quincy Jones, he said, we've been trying to get rid of the genre chains for decades. It's just music. He said there's good and there's bad. And that's what I'm trying to do, good music.
Yeah. It's weird, though, because in some kind of way there's like this roots blues soul man thing that comes
There
out
is,
of you.
you know,
And
and
then another side, it's like this guy's pop music. Some people you could hear some of your songs and think you're not even like, is he black?
Right. Well, you played Not on My Watch, which
Right.
sounds like the folk, bluegrass or country, which was really how a song like Wake Me Up was first developed. So Wake Me Up is one of my biggest songs ever, but it got dressed up as a dance song, EDM, electronic dance music. And so at its roots and core, it's a folk, soul, bluegrass song. And then it got remixed so that it could get into the nightclubs and to the festivals and onto pop radio. So maybe you're right. Maybe at the core of everything, it's the folk soul, and then all these all the makeup that it gets put on the song turns it into different things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'm right. I'm just kind of I love your music and I love the spirit of it. I am a lyrics person, but also just the fact that you show up everywhere. I see you everywhere for the community, showing up. But I wonder, as an artist, does that, in some cases, it's got to help you, but in some cases, does that hurt you to so-called defy categorization?
It does. Absolutely. I remember very clearly when I started my solo career, I released an album that defied categorization. Every song was different. I had a salsa song on there. I had a broken beat. I had R&B, neo soul, classic soul, folk, and it was just a lot of everything. And I would say that it was sort of a table of contents to my career. So this is what my career is going to be. You're going to hear these kinds of songs going forward, and sometimes it'll be a whole chapter of folk, sometimes it'll be a whole chapter of classic soul, sometimes it'll be a whole chapter of, dance music.
Somehow I doubt labels love that.
Well, I was lucky enough to be on an independent label, and they didn't have much to say, but my subsequent album was all throwback classic soul, and so that's where my career really took off, because it was an identifiable and clear character that people could understand and describe, and fall in love with. And once I did it, I felt like, well, I don't want to have to always be, 1972. I want to get into the 21st century. So on the next album, I updated everything, and it worked out because I had some great big songs like The Man and Love Is the Answer. But I think the brand suffered. And so, I'm so much more about the music than the brand.
I mean, it's weird to have to be a brand.
It is very, very strange. And it's even more so nowadays because it's such a visual culture. And I love for my music to speak for me, and I like for it to speak loudly rather than for me to have to be out there promoting my music. The folks who are famous want to be famous. They really do. There's a lot of work to be famous and stay famous.
And stay, quote unquote, relevant.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've been blessed that the music has been able to do it, and I hope that I can just continue to let the music speak and not have to be, Mr. Social Media guy, because it's not where I come from.
Aloe Blacc, you're right. It sounds like the hit songs that come out of your pen is what allows you to have the flexibility in terms of all these different genres. And
it is, and it's gained me some social equity, some industry equity. There's diminishing returns, like you were saying. Is it hard? Are there some costs and benefits? There's definitely costs. I think the benefits outweigh the costs, though. I've been fortunate enough to have a charmed life and to continue to use my voice to amplify causes and good things that I think are important, but also then be around for my kids and for my community.
Yeah, I want to talk about what's happening with your touring and all that stuff and go into some more of these songs. We got a minute and a half here before news, traffic, and sports. So the music, they want us to categorize the music and the people, right? So are you Latino? Are you Afro-Latino? Are you Black? Are you Black American? Are you...
Wow, yeah.
What's the brand, Aloe Blacc? What's the brand?
It is, you know what? There's so much to it that I just have to be human, At some point, you just have to recognize that you are a global citizen and be that, and that you can represent many walks of life. If I am at a rally on immigration, then I'm representing my family. I'm representing my cousin who was legally allowed to be an American because his dad was American, but he was born in Panama. He moved to the U.S. and then didn't get his papers done before he turned 18, so it made it extra difficult, right? But beyond that, I'm also representing the community that I have supported with my music for so many years, the community of day laborers and immigrants and folks who help make this country what it is. And so in that sense, yes, I'm Latino. I'm Afro-Latino. I'm Black. I'm Black American. I'm American. I'm a citizen of the world. I travel everywhere for music, and because of the music, I'm accepted in ways that I think would be maybe not so welcoming if I didn't have the veneer of celebrity and song with me. But I try to use it to help other people have that ease and that simplicity of life.
Talking with Aloe Blacc. We've got news, traffic, and sports, then more on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Another wrongful conviction tied to a disgraced ex-Chicago detective, Ronaldo Guevara, has been overturned. Antonio McDowell, who is Black, spent 23 years in prison and was exonerated after being framed for murder.
I'm free for the first time in nearly 30 years.
He's now the 51st person cleared in a Guevara case. China is pushing back against U.S. claims it violated the Geneva Trade Agreement, accusing Washington of breaching the deal instead. Tensions are rising after new U.S. export restrictions on chip tech and visa threats for Chinese students. And Bill Gates says he'll spend most of his fortune improving health and education in Africa. Speaking in Ethiopia, he pledged $200 billion from the Gates Foundation over 20 years, aiming to close it down by 2045. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Pan comido or a piece of cake, no matter how you say it, you save at cheapoair.com/ES. The deals are fully translated in Spanish, so all you've got to do is scroll and save. With deals on up to 500 airlines worldwide. cheapoair.com/ES.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The New York Mets scored 2 runs in the 10th inning last night to beat the Dodgers 4-3. 23rd home run for Shohei Ohtani. Game 2 of the Mets-Dodgers 4-game series is tonight at Dodger Stadium. 3 homers and a 6-run first inning helped the Angels hold on for a 7-6 win at Boston. The Angels are 500 on the road at 17-17. The LA Sparks have a 5-day break before their next game at Dallas Friday night. They need the extra practice time. The Sparks are 2-6 in the WNBA and are struggling with a 3-game losing streak. They haven't been above 500 since June 14, 2023. The Oklahoma City Thunder are 9-point favorites over the Indiana Pacers in Game 1 Thursday night in the NBA Finals. Before the season, the Pacers were 50-1 odds to win the NBA championship. If somebody made that bet, they are looking at a major payday if the Pacers win the title. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm LA City Councilman Curran Price, inviting you to join us on Saturday, June the 14th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. as we cut the ribbon on the brand new Enel Woods Park at 8703 South McKinley Avenue. Thanks to a generous donation from Heal the Bay, the park features smart irrigation, stormwater capture systems, and space for local wildlife to thrive. And we've built a walking trail, picnic areas, native landscaping, and quiet spaces for families to gather, relax, and connect. This is part of a much larger effort to expand green spaces across South LA with 3 new parks in the works, a first-of-its-kind community center coming soon, and plans to connect it all through the South LA Greenway. So mark your calendar for Saturday, June 14th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and come celebrate a greener, stronger South LA at Enel Woods Park. I'm also pleased to sponsor the Climate Justice plus Black Health Symposium, moderated by Tavis Smiley, live on C-SPAN, Wednesday, June the 18th, from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center. Just a reminder to sign up right away at the KBLA1580.com website to join me, Mayor Karen Bass, Congresswoman Sidney Kamlader Dove, Tennessee State Representative Justin Pearson, Dr. Cornel West, former Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr., the Sierra Club's Ben Jealous, and other black influencers in the climate and health fields as we continue to amplify the connection between climate and poor health outcomes for our people. Thank you for listening. I'm Councilman Curran Price.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay, things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Be heard. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Change the world and be with someone you don't already know. Plant a flower in the ground and watch it grow. Just take it easy, take it slow. Don't rush through life, just let it flow. Let your imagination run wild. See the world through the eyes of a child.
KBLA Talk 1580, that's Aloe Blacc. You want to tell us what we're hearing?
Oh man, this is a song called "Eyes of a Child." Wow, writing this song really was about trying to find that innocence of childhood and living through your adulthood with that kind of peace, if possible.
Yeah, you're such a prolific writer
Mhm.
and artist. It's at least, if you count EPs and albums, we're at like, what, 10 or something?
It's
like
something like that. So
Yeah.
I know it's
more than 10.
a lot
I
of
think.
solo albums and a lot of EPs, and then some albums with my longtime hip hop partner, DJ Exile. We had a group. I used to be an MC, a rapper, before I started singing. But got really inspired by all the songs we were sampling from, the Stevie Wonder and the Sam Cooke and the Nina Simone, and just wanted to write lyrics.
But you know what they say, hip hop's like the mafia. Once you get in, you can never get out.
Pretty much.
No such thing as a former rapper, right?
No, not at all. I was just thinking about it last night. Like, there's so many other. I have probably 2 more hip hop albums that I've never released. Not probably, for sure, and more. But my singing career took off, and I think maybe at some point I can share everything. There's a retreat called the Playlist Retreat that Jazzy Jeff does over on the East Coast, and he has this quote. He says, "Die empty." He says, all us artists are holding on to all this music, waiting for the right time to put it out, and waiting for the right circumstances, or it's not done yet. We just need to add one more thing. And he says, "Nah, just start to release the music. Don't leave this planet with all this music unreleased." So
You were in an event, you said, with Chuck D last night.
yeah, last night Chuck D was sharing the documentary film about his work as a professor at UCLA. The name of the documentary is "In the Hour of Chaos," and the title of the documentary is really just Chuck saying, when has it never been the hour of chaos for Black folk in the United States? And to think about that internationally, it extends as far as the rest of the world as well. And so during the break, when we were talking about the current domestic political and geopolitical climate, we have reason to stand up and not be afraid, because we've always had to stand up and not be afraid. What is there that's different about today that didn't exist in some other fashion or form, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20, 30 years ago? It's always been around. So just having the courage to stand up and say, no, that's wrong, and not on my watch. We're going to make sure that we're speaking truth to power, and make sure that we're letting everybody know what is the right way. And even if you don't know the exact right way, you know what the wrong way is. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's right. There's always been challenge. I guess the reason it feels different is, like you said, some form or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Right now we have AI tracking us, and we're
Yeah.
dealing with social media, and the mainstream media has gotten so much more sophisticated and blocking out our messages, even since 2020,
Yeah.
where you're just not seeing the coverage. I think they realized they were making the protests bigger.
Right. I see what you're saying.
So it can feel overwhelming and daunting, and then the takeover of our government domestically so complete. The courts, the White House, and the Congress. It feels daunting.
But when I think about hip hop in particular, and this conversation that Chuck offered last night, is that we are a creative people, and when we need to communicate, we will, and we're going to use technology to our advantage, and they have no idea how, and we're always one step ahead. Eventually, they figure it out, but we're always a step ahead because we have to be creative. It's our survival, and if we're not, then we won't be able to thrive. So I can wholeheartedly believe in the power of the people to come together and find ways to combat the injustice, to combat the subjugation, and to rise. I believe very strongly in our creativity and the ability to fight the power.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, because a lot of people, I call it preemptive surrender, where people are just giving in case they're threatened. You see it with universities and some of these corporations and even some artists.
Yeah, that's true. There was some preemptive surrender, and I think it was necessary for some folks to capitulate so that other folks would be like, oh, that's not me. And so when some of the universities started saying, you know what, no, that's not me. Matter of fact, we've been around longer than whatever this happening right here. We've been around and showing and proving. So we're just going to stand in our truth and allow, the chips to fall where they may. Ultimately, the people will be victorious. The people will prevail. Light will overcome darkness. And darkness is going to try. Evil is going to continue to try. They're going to always, but it can't win. It can't win. And the thing is, oh my goodness, this is getting way deeper than I expected to get, but you just have to understand and believe, and hold deep inside of your heart that whatever this physical world is not the it. And so if you are like any of the heroes that you claim to have, like a Martin Luther King or a Nelson Mandela or Mahatma Gandhi or anybody else who's more contemporary, this physical shell is not the it. There's something bigger, greater, and more important, more significant. And so you can certainly live with the strength of your spirit, because the folks who that I look up to, I look at like even Mr. B, Harry Belafonte. He died in his 90s. Definitely lived through death threats, and his friends were killed and jailed and beaten, but he did it anyway.
And he kept doing it.
And he kept doing it, and then he kept in the face of the opposition, teaching, training, and preparing the next generations, multiple.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever the it is, it's not this flesh. And so I'm going to fight for whatever's bigger than that. The spirit, the future.
Talking with Aloe Blacc, and this is what we needed. This is what we needed on a Talking Point Tuesday. Let's lift it up. Let's stay fearless for continuing the conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease, also known as AD, a type of dementia that affects memory, thinking, and behavior, making everyday tasks challenging. But did you know that Black adults aged 65 and older are twice as likely as white adults to develop AD? There are things you can do to help reduce your risk for developing AD. Managing conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure is crucial. Staying physically active, maintaining social connections, eating a healthy diet, and keeping your mind engaged with activities like reading or puzzles can all contribute to brain health. It's also important to recognize some common signs and symptoms of early AD, such as forgetfulness that causes problems with everyday life, asking the same question a few times in a row, and difficulty concentrating on basic tasks. If you see these signs in yourself or a loved one, don't wait. Early diagnosis and intervention are key to managing AD effectively. To learn more about AD and a potential treatment option, visit treatallzearly.com. That's treatallzearly.com. This message is brought to you by AZI.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has work source centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
No job to occupy my time. What else you expect me to do except cry? It ain't stealing if it's something I just find. Refuse to lose with this trouble on my mind. Johnny Law, come busting down my door. But the police don't scare me anymore. I've been in that backseat so many times before. Soldier in the city. I'm a soldier in the city. Soldier in the city. I'm a soldier in the city. Trying to make some cheese out of all of these things. Wanna find a queen, but all I'm seeing is tramps. Every day feel like I'm away at boot camp. Badass little kids buzzing out the street lane. Neighborhood hustler, come knocking at my door. Gotta pay my debts, need to settle the score. 'Cause I don't want no more trouble from these fellas no more. Soldier in the city.
Aloe Blacc is with me. And, man, congratulations on everything.
Thank you so much.
Just so prolific. Enough music to last you all the way through the weekend. If you listen, just start going back, listen to the EP, listen to the new album. And you're on the road.
And I'm on the road, yeah. So, usually I stick to just doing private performances and festivals, but it's time to get back on the circuit and do some public shows. I've spent the last 10, 11 years kind of just trying to be dad and not be away from the family. So, I'll take the gigs that I can fly out and fly back in over a day rather than being on the road for a couple weeks. But, my kids are at a place now where they can pack their own lunch and
all right. That's a
they
big
can manage.
Milestone.
Yes, they
That's
can
a
manage.
Big milestone.
So I can spend some time away a little bit, and in the best scenario, bring them along with me when it's summertime.
So now we can see you.
Yeah.
Outside of the private venues and the festivals. How do we track that?
My website, aloeblacc.com.
You spell black with 2 C's.
ALOEBLACC.com. And I will definitely, the website will have the tour dates where people can see me locally or across the country and across the world. I'll be in Europe in July. I'll be in the U.S. in August. And just out and about doing the shows and sharing the love.
What do your kids think about the music?
Wow, they have a lot of opinions.
I know they
they like some songs. They don't like other songs. Generally, if they like it, it's something I think is gonna make the album and it'll do well. Sometimes they don't know what they're talking about, so I have to make my executive decisions.
Exactly.
But they're a good bunch. I was really happy when early on my daughter could identify Aretha Franklin's voice and Bill Withers' voice. That, to me, that's a milestone when your kid can actually point out, I know who that is.
Yeah, home training. The new album is Stand Together.
Mm-hmm.
How do we support, or what ought we know or be doing to support independently minded artists like you, artists who are dedicated to activism and making the world a better place?
I think the easiest way to support is to follow and share. Follow on social media the music that we're doing and the activism that we're doing, and share to amplify it so that other people know what's available to them to advocate for. Like I said, this new album, Stand Together, there's songs that are inspired by community heroes, people who have started organizations that support the most vulnerable. So one of the songs on the album is called My World, and it is in support of an organization from Houston, or started in Dallas actually, called Cafe Momentum. Cafe Momentum is a restaurant that was founded by a chef who recognized that youth in his community who were system involved didn't have a first chance, and they probably won't even get a chance unless someone pulls them in and gives them that kind of support and stability. So he gave system involved youth work. He set up a system to also give them an education so they could finish high school or start their college career and get housing. And so a lot of them come from really unstable families. They can't really just go back to their families or their neighborhoods when they get out of juvie or whatever institution they were in. So he, to me, creating these songs in order to amplify these heroes to show everyone else what's possible is the way that I want to be able to show up in the world, because there may be another chef out there who's had the same idea or thought, or at least who's empathetic and is ready to jump in and embrace these souls. So
yeah.
And it may show up in many different ways, but hopefully the music inspires.
How did you get to your consciousness, your commitment, your community advocacy?
There are so many paths towards it. I would say it was partially because of the way I was brought up with my parents, who always instilled in me to do the right thing and work hard. And there was never an activist bent that I saw from my parents, but there was certainly a recognition of how to advocate for yourself and for others, And then, getting married to my wife, Maya Jupiter, she had already and always had been engaged in community work in ways that I hadn't. And so because of her engagement and the friends and the circle of friends that she had, it really impressed upon me how to stay rooted in this, in community and activism.
She's absolutely fearless.
Really, really fearless. Like she doesn't take any opportunity to mince words or be strictly commercial with her music. I'll toe the line sometimes, trying to be a little bit extra commercial so that I can have songs that will allow me to continue to have social capital and industry equity, but not with her. Every song is going to be smacking some patriarchy or some oppressor down. And there's then the organizations within the community that have educated me and inspired me. The time that I went to Community Coalition and met with leaders there to understand the work that's happening in South LA and how I need to be part of it and not be creating more work and trouble for them, which at the time when I released I Need a Dollar, I'd had the opportunity to do some advertising for a liquor brand, and my posters went up around the city, and that's when I got the call from Community Coalition saying,
"Oh man, I remember those days.
We're trying to shut down the liquor stores, and here you go promoting liquor."
Well, you certainly have done so much since then, and I've seen you at everything from labor to anti-racism, Black Lives Matter. I've seen you at all kinds of causes. So certainly since whenever that liquor conversation went up, a lot has happened.
A lot has happened.
Well, Aloe Blacc, thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate you. Really appreciate your support of the station and the community and the great work that you do.
Thank you so much.
Tavis Smiley's up next. He's got a full show for you. And in fact, he interviewed Aloe Blacc. So if you want, you can do a 2-part podcast. Our podcasts are available on YouTube or wherever you get your pods. So don't forget to tap in and check that out. Please check in with Aloe Blacc on social media and us as well, KBLA 1580. Like my mama, the great Diane DiPrima, used to say, history is now, and we are making it together. Until tomorrow, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Another wrongful conviction tied to a disgraced ex-Chicago detective, Ronaldo Guevara, has been overturned. Antonio McDowell, who is black, spent 23 years in prison, are rising after new U.S. export restrictions on chip tech and visa threats for Chinese students. And Bill Gates says he'll